All right, and we are officially broadcasting for the third episode of the community. Welcome in. Welcome back. All right, so tonight we're going to tackle a plethora of topics. I got Rich down here. I got Izzo down here. We're going to go through different subjects, no particular order. I'm Brian.
None whatsoever.
If y'all didn't know,
of course.
So enjoy yourself. Sit back, relax. If you've never been in here before, welcome. If you've been here before, I apologize about the last two.
Oh, you so stupid.
Playing.
Yeah,
apologize for. All right, so we're gonna start this off with a nice cold glass of. What was the word he used?
Diversity.
Because it's delicious.
Oh, goodness.
All right, so was that offensive? Was it stupid?
All right, so to give everybody some context, I forgot who the politician was, but was it in Iowa or Idaho? But anyway, long story short, whatever state he was in, basically I get the example they were trying to do. What they were trying to show is like they use milk, which is white, and they were showing how if you pour chocolate syrup into it, like all the people of color are at the bottom, but diversity doesn't work.
Wait, time out. Really?
Yeah.
See, I was thinking the opposite. I thought he was trying to include that. Oh my god.
No. So this gets to, that's what I'm saying. Like it's a whole thing. So they say diversity doesn't really work until it gets mixed in, and you have the chocolate milk, and then the politician's like, delicious.
No, it's not.
and here's the thing. What's funny about it is it's not the fact that here I get the intention. The intention I got. But it's like that old saying goes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yep.
And it came off wrong because it was almost like it was done in such a way to where it was almost like it was tone deaf. Wouldn't say it was
very tone deaf.
Bad. It's just and people say it's offensive. I can't say it's like offensive in the sense of like I don't want to put it. I don't want to say it's offensive in the traditional sense because I do think that people get offended over things way too easily.
Yes.
But this case here was more like this was just stupid. Like I get the example you were trying to make, but the way that you went about it was just you completely missed the mark.
I think it was the stupid smile.
Right.
I mean, it kind of it almost had validity just because it was two different races up there.
Right,
talking about it.
Yeah, and no one talks about
even this wasn't even Idaho. This is like Illinois.
Right.
Yeah, but
what?
Yeah, but it was like it's.
I just had to look it up. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Even the way he was explaining it, it was like, "I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you." Then when he was like, "I'll drink it," I can't be with you on this. I'm gonna let this ship sail and let y'all do what y'all gotta do.
I'm so happy I never watched this.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh no.
I kept seeing it, but I'm not clicking on it. I can't do it today.
Watch it. It's the fact that it's like Brian said, it's the fact that after he drank it, then he's like, diversity.
That's like some robot chicken shit.
I mean, people get offended about it. I'm like, come on, guys! Like, it was a worthy gesture, but it was the fact. It was, you know, how like when you do something, you take it that one extra step to where it goes from being, oh, that's interesting, to no, this is weird. Like, like drinking it with a smile, and then like, diversity. It's like, you just made it strange.
I mean, I wasn't even offended.
Me neither.
It's just some things aren't offensive. It's just some things are stupid.
And that was stupid.
And that's where I was. I wasn't offended. I didn't take any offense to it. I don't think either of those guys had any malice or any ill will in their heart. It was just stupid. You made a stupid gesture.
Goodness gracious.
And it's like you didn't think it out.
Nah, not at all.
You didn't ask
Well,
anybody if we should do
Let me
this.
ask this question: was the milk already out there when he came to the podium?
Yeah,
Was the
for some
syrup
reason it
already?
was.
Yeah, it was.
So he
Yeah.
had to have ran that by somebody. Everybody like, okay, boss, it's good to go. Who did that?
No. This is one of those situations where somebody in power or
Gotcha.
somebody who has status comes up
Mhm.
with an idea,
Mm-hmm.
and in their mind it's brilliant,
No,
and they don't have to pass it by anybody.
there wasn't one black intern. Anybody said like,
The
yeah,
guy who
but-
poured the milk
over
was
there.
black.
I had to be. I didn't even know that. I just thought he would be. I know that's sad,
Nah.
but
No,
So
it was.
he was in on it.
Yeah, it was
I
stupid.
thought it was fun. No.
Wow. Yeah, that was dumb.
So, you know, it's just one of those things, and people act and say things without thinking. I mean, unfortunately, when we do it, nobody hears it. Well, that's probably a good thing because I don't want a lot of people hearing the things I say and think. That might not be the smartest thing to say or think. So
yeah,
that's
yeah, I
a good
got
thing.
you.
But, you know,
Well,
Get
welcome to
those
the
people.
internet, man.
POTUS.
Stop.
I had something in my.
We don't have one of
throat
those
just
right
now.
now.
Yeah, we do.
Man.
Unfortunately, we do. We
Well,
do.
well,
And I think you guys were talking about this before we started the whole.
Oh, yes, we were.
Not my president
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't claim him.
thing.
He's not
I understand
qualified.
that.
The Central Park 5 thing, when I watched that documentary, like changed my whole view about him before I even saw him running for president, to where I just I can't take him seriously.
How about you look at it like this? He's the person who's presiding over our country. He's not your leader.
Well,
Okay, I got that
I
one.
mean,
But what you
know,
gotta say on that, Rich?
It's like he occupies the office of the president, so technically he is the president.
Mhm.
I don't agree with the
hard
things
one to
he
swallow.
pushes, and I don't agree with the. But it's like, the same argument could be proposed if you had a person who was on the other side when Barack Obama was president and was saying,
But
like,
at least he was a senator and everything else. And he
don't
was
get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Like
organizer
it's like
and-
the fact that we can say he's a businessman, and we can say all these other accolades about why he was great for the job. But the thing I think people forget is that when it comes to him, the reality of it is, you look at a person. You know, there's no way you would tell me that you would hire somebody for a job that they have no insight for. And it just looks like whenever the discussion was about him in particular, it's just like, sure, you know, but unfortunately, this office or politics in general has become a glorified popularity contest. And then once somebody gets into that role, it's just kind of like, oh, okay, you know, it's like we have to just then deal with it. And it's unfortunate we have to deal with it for 4 years.
I want to pose a question, and I thought about this election night. Is this more so? Actually, it's three different parts to it.
Okay.
Trump becoming president, was it because people were tired of, I guess, black people having their day? Or was it people wanted to change? Or was it we really looked down on women, we weren't able to look at Hillary as a leader? Which one was it?
I think that's a multifaceted approach.
Unfortunately, I think it's almost the latter that I said, and that scared me.
I don't think honestly that it came down to simply just being her. I think yes, it did. But I do think that if you look at the way that Bernie Sanders movement kind of cascaded into things, the way that he spoke about, you know, anti-establishment, you know, getting you know, making things the way that they are, or dealing with the things the way that they are. Trump and Sanders spoke the same language,
anti-establishment type stuff, and she was pure establishment.
Oh, no. She was waiting for her turn. So I mean, you know, it was like, you know, it's like, well, I'm about to take. And let's be honest.
It felt like she was doing victory laps until the last 2 weeks.
Oh yeah,
the polls got tight.
No, man,
she rolled out Jay-Z and Beyonce and thought the Negroes were running.
No, man, let's on paper, she's probably the most qualified person. Easily. On paper. Now the thing is, let's put this in context too, is that when you look at somebody on paper, you also have to think about what they did in that time and the other factors around that person. If you look straight resume, yes, but if you look at all the other things that went into that, you know, it's. But then you look at, you know, the current president. It's like, yeah, well, if your argument is about anti-establishment or not, yeah, that all works. But until you're like, oh, he's a businessman, it's like, okay, sure. He found a very good way how to make loopholes out of the businesses that he had and the ones that were unsuccessful. And then he also found ways how to, let me not say, I don't want to say directly that he was conning people, but it did look like, you know, he was very advantageous with the things that he did. So, you know, in all seriousness, I mean, if that's the kind of person you want who knows how to wheel and deal, then sure. But but I don't think he's like, I don't know. Like I'm like, the way that we're going about it, especially if we're talking about, you know, whether or not like how all of it came together. I think it was the fact that it was a change. It was the same thing that kind of fired people up about Barack Obama is what fired people up about Trump, is that he was different. He was anti-establishment. He wasn't cut from the same cloth, which is exactly what Barack Obama was. I mean, I've had people who actually said, "No, I voted for Obama," and then when it came time for, you know, between Trump and Hillary, it's like, but Hillary's just exactly, she's like the old guard just coming back in. It's like you said, it was like, you know, victory lap.
Yeah, I wasn't excited. I know I voted for Bernie in the primary. Definitely did. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think about it until a couple days before. I had no clue.
Right.
I think just the whole thing was just like classic bullshit politics.
Oh no, it is.
It was.
It was a movie. Both sides had some cricket stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I to be honest with you, I didn't trust Hillary too tough.
I mean, a lot of us,
most people didn't.
I'm not gonna lie.
Most people didn't. They want to ride the high horse of morality, but it's like ultimately, you know, you're. I think what did Trevor Noah said? He said you're picking between Grandma Nixon or the fifth horseman of the apocalypse. so you know, it's like, you know, which way are you gonna go? You know, again, am I the person who goes around and says that's not my president? No, because the reality of it is that, you know, we talked about this inside of, like, we talked about this in a weird way about Black Panthers, that you know, Killmonger, technically he was the wrong person for the role, period. But he won. He took the position based on rules that were set before
for him.
And he won. So you can't be mad.
Yeah,
you can't be
that
mad.
flashed in my brain as I watched those scenes.
Yeah, it's like,
It
that sucks.
did. Yeah, that movie was very relevant at those points. Yeah. Ugh.
Wow, you know what? It was. You got which leader? Who do you want to lead you? Do you want somebody who's off doing all this other stuff?
Or do you want someone or do you want someone
who's going to try to bring you up, but in the process destroy everybody else?
Right. I mean, and it had a very nationalist tone under it, so it's just kind of it's
because it wasn't all those niggers that got that 700 million popping worldwide. Right. It talked to a lot of people. Everybody I know that I work with said they've already seen it 2, 3, or 4 times. All types of people, not white, not just Black. Everybody.
I just want to say, I want to say one thing about people who see movies multiple times, because in a lot of cases it's like, have you ever seen when people crack on folks that like, man, why'd you see Avengers like 8 times? That's just stupid. But yet it's like, I'm gonna see Black Panther. I'm gonna buy this ticket for the culture. I'm like, wait, what? Like,
Rich, it's different. Rich, damn it, it's different.
How is it different?
It just is.
Hey, I saw Batman Begins 3 times. That's the only movie I've ever seen 3 times in the theaters.
I think. I don't want to tell you how many times I saw the first Transformers movie.
No, we ain't gonna go into that. We'll let you flourish. I've seen that twice. No, I saw that 3 times too. Twice because of you and one of my own.
I've never been to a movie more than twice to see.
What have you seen twice? Like Hulk?
No, man. No.
What
I
is
don't
it?
remember what it was, damn it. I just
Bring
know
It On?
it was
Bring It
something. No, Bring It On.
Wow.
That was Netflix, wasn't it?
no.
Negro Netflix wasn't around in
Oh,
'99.
The cheerleader movie.
Yeah.
Reunion,
I did
man.
like that. What,
Gabrielle
wasn't Gabby in that?
Can't
I'm
act like I ain't
I'm
seen
not
that.
gonna make any faces. I'm
Times.
just going. Okay.
It is what it is. But what were we talking about again? Sorry.
But
Now
hey,
we're
I
talking-
guarantee you, hey, real quick, I guarantee you, we're the only people in America that have ever connected a conversation from Trump to Black Panther.
I promise you. Well, I don't think many people. You know what? What's funny is that I don't think many people see it that way. It's like
It rang in my head when I saw it.
we are isolated in terms of ideology where we can't see the similarities between things. So even down to the point of where it's like everything about Wakanda was technically a nationalist approach. Like that was the whole thing, and then it's like the leader was like, "Oh yeah, let's go ahead and be good for the world." Some people are like, I don't know, we need to keep these walls up, bro.
Yeah.
And it's not like we don't feel that way sometimes.
Right.
But the way people are going about it now is just like inhuman.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
They like, we built these walls to keep these Mexicans out. Oops, I meant other people.
Right. I mean, so in talking about the president, you know, and I know like one of the things that's been kind of a hot button issue is the gun control debate. So, and like without going like too serious about it, like
yeah,
like what do you guys think? Because I'm you know, my dad's prior law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I grew up around guns, so for me it's like
nothing to you.
Let me not say nothing.
Okay,
but I see like the issue in and of itself is the fact that there's two things going on, and the thing that people forget is that it's like the argument about like when people say police brutality, and it's like, then what about black on black crime? It's like they're two different issues, and I think
totally different, and this totally isolated different issues.
And this, in some ways, is it can be treated in a similar light, because you have the issue of, you know, access to weapons, and then you have the issue of mental illness, then you have the issue of, you know, schools as being soft targets, quote unquote. So
honestly, those are almost three issues, but they do fall under the umbrella.
Yeah, they fall like, but but you can make a correlation with anything technically.
Yeah,
like I can make a correlation that, you know, let's think of something that's, you know, let's see, people who drive, you know, tend to eat. So I mean, you can make a correlation with anything. Like you can do that. So it's like, I mean, I'm not saying that makes no sense, but you can.
Yeah.
So it's like with this whole thing, my position on it is like, do I think that they're going to ban guns? No, I think that's
no, and they shouldn't.
I think that's not the right approach.
Gun control is such an octopus. If it makes sense, because you got these arms waving all these different areas. You know, should you have guns? If you have guns, how old should you be? If you're old enough, then how should your your mind state be? If your mind state's fine, then have you ever been to the military? Do you have proper training? If you have proper training in what? And then, you know, how big your gun should be. I don't have a problem with people having guns. And the thing with gun, it's kind of hard to take a stance because you don't know what you're taking a stance against.
That's,
you know, I don't have a problem with people having guns. I have a problem with a 15-year-old boy going to buy a
AR-15.
What is it? AR-15.
He was
in
19.
20 minutes.
No,
he was 19.
19. Yeah.
Well,
so
they had the video of the young guy. They gave him a wad of cash.
Oh, you mean just to see? To tell?
Yeah, they said I want you to go buy cigarettes, buy liquor, and buy a gun. He went and tried to buy liquor. They said, you're too young, you can't have this liquor. He went and tried to buy cigarettes and said, "Oh, baby, you can't buy no cigarettes. You young." That's how the lady sounds. I swear, that's how she sounds. You got to watch the video. And he went and bought. It wasn't an AR-15, but he walked out with a shotgun.
That don't make no sense, bro.
You know, just
Why
the
is it
same
that
day.
easy?
I thought it was a waiting period for a gun.
Nah. And see, and this is where it gets really, really tricky, because I think there's a lot of people on one side of the issue who are like, they have no exposure, no understanding, and no thought about what this tool, if you will, is supposed to do. I wish people would stop using the word tool, because here's the way I see it. A gun is a tool, you are correct. But
Yeah,
so
it
is a weapon. A weapon is a tool. And it's a tool designed to do
a knife, a machete.
Yeah, it's a tool designed to inflict harm. Like a gun isn't something that no one. Let's just be honest. The purpose of why that weapon was made is not to shoot targets or whatever. The purpose of why the weapon is made is to inflict harm on something, to either neutralize it as a threat, or in the case
hunting deer with an AR-15.
AR-15.
Hey, but
There's no
you know what?
reason.
I'm not. Yeah, I mean,
we have no
argue
reason to
for or
have
against.
weapons that the military should have as civilians. We do not have a reason.
Military grade weapons, that's a whole nother conversation, and and I think really it comes down to the fact that most people who try to talk about the issue aren't exposed to guns in and of itself. Yeah. All they hear is gun, and it's like bad. It's not.
No, yeah, guns are bad. I'm not a gun owner, but at the same time, I don't think a handgun is fine. Shotgun is fine. They serve their purpose. A handgun's protect. Shotgun, well, depending on where you are, can protect you, but it's also to hunt. But why, or a rifle? But why do I need?
Yeah, well, you need like
most people that have them,
assault rifles is used to assault.
It's a toy.
Most people that have them, and I know there are a lot. Most people that have guns are responsible people.
Yeah, absolutely,
and that's the truth.
And that's true. And that is certainly true.
They say they have it because it's fun to shoot.
No, it's a toy. It is like a weapon like that.
But why shouldn't they jump through bigger hoops to achieve I guess, be able to keep that toy? I shouldn't just be able to walk in, buy this, and then walk out.
Oh,
why is it?
I see it I see it the same way. I see it the exact same way when people go out onto a car dealership and like, I want to buy this 800 horsepower vehicle when I just came from a Ford Focus.
Yeah, that's
it's like
knock everybody off the road.
Yeah, it's like no, like there's got to
be die today.
there's got to be a reason or a method to the madness with this thing, and I think that's the same way we should look at what I don't like. The thing that I don't understand is that I don't think that banning weapons or whatever is an answer, but to have the controls in any other let me back up. Any other industry where there has been like an issue with the use or application of, there has been laws to kind of help control a certain level of competency with it. Key example is driving. So why is it that when someone says, oh, we need to look at maybe having some way to educate people about weapons, or even if you did say you had to have some sort of training or whatever, it's like, oh, that's a bad idea. Well, why is it a bad idea? I mean, it's just
there are people that are deathly afraid that somebody wants to take some right away that nobody cares about. Nobody is trying to take anything away from anybody else.
Well,
that was propaganda pushed on the Facebook when certain things happened, aka Sandy Hook. They said Obama and his administration were going to take guns away. That was like legitimately things that they put out there to make people think, and those people still believe that to this day. And they still bring up the point, oh, they're going to take guns away. Nobody has ever said that, and he has documented himself in tons of interviews to say that. And yet they still keep saying that.
No one's going to take your guns. It's fine. It's just I do think there needs to be an honest conversation of how to look at at gun violence in and of itself. Because let's be honest, because the AR-15 or whichever I believe that's the weapon that they keep harping on. All right, so the AR-15
is 8 of these shootings.
All right. But the definition of mass shooting is a person who has, in a single incident, killed 3 or more people. That is what you consider as a mass shooting. Most of those, I believe, they say have been done by handguns. So it's like, what do we do in these cases? Like, because if you ban that assault weapon, what is it going? And I want to keep making sure that it's understood that it is a weapon. It is not a tool. What happens in the grand scheme of things when you start saying like, okay, well, if it moves over to handguns, you're going to start banning those too. I mean, it's kind of.
Well, how could you even enforce it if it's already out there? That's just
right.
like if.
Well, you'd have, and that if all these weapons are what's the word for it? If they're licensed, like if it's a person that honestly has, that is legitimately registered the I'm about to say vehicle, but legitimately registered the weapon. I really don't see the necessity in truly saying wipe them all out totally. I think there is a user education piece as to what and why and how this weapon is used.
I think it needs to be just restated.
Yeah,
it's like we don't want to take your guns. We just want to know why you have so many. That's all.
Why are you hoarding guns? This is something I need to know.
You have a bazooka. I know it's your right.
Is
why
it?
Do you have it?
Yeah, and that's the funny thing about this whole argument is that if we're talking about the right to bear arms, but could we say that any what counts as arms? Is it a bazooka? If you had a rocket launcher, is that
exactly? Nobody's going to break in your house, and you're not going to pull out the rocket launcher and blow all us up. Bitch up, get out! Nobody's going to
do that. Nobody, bro. You're right.
So like I said, I don't have a problem with people having guns. I want to know why you have so many. I want to know if I'm living next to somebody who has a whole store in their house, because I don't want to live next to you. It's like somebody with a pit bull. I don't want to live next door to nobody with a pit bull.
Man, that's a whole
that pit bull might never do anything to anybody in his whole life, but
I love pit bulls.
It might.
That could be any dog.
Both times that I've had pit bulls, that I've had pit bulls in my vicinity, they've done something stupid. So,
were you in the country? Were you in the country?
Yeah, I was in the country.
See, there you go. That's why.
I can't help how I grew up. I apologize. Shit happened in the country.
It's home training, man. Like,
most of those dogs don't stay inside in the country.
No,
right?
Exactly.
Like,
ain't no fences.
Everything is a squirrel to them.
Oh, you fancy? You got a fence. They fancy motherfucker. Ain't nobody had no fence. You could run straight through my neighborhood, through everybody's backyard. Nobody had a fence.
It's like it's the backwoods version of the Ferris Bueller running scene.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's my shit.
Exactly. But we had a pit bull when I was young, really, really young.
Okay.
And my uncle bought it. It was a grown pit bull. I don't know where he get it from. Okay. But he had it. I went to school, came back, pit bull was gone. Uncle had a Band-Aid on his hand. I said, what happened to the pit bulls? Son of a bitch bit me. Had to get rid of him. Shot my pit bull.
But that's it. That's any dog though.
That's a pit bull. It was not any dog. I've had many dogs.
I'm gonna have to say, like, that's any dog.
So you don't get a little bit more apprehensive when you see pit bulls around?
I mean, I get apprehensive about any dog that's over 40 pounds because I can't literally lift them up and throw them far enough.
Adrenaline kick in. I bet you can.
I mean, yeah, I can, but it's like being able to do it, on command with ease. It's like, and usually dogs that are over 40 pounds, they have like huge heads, and you gotta like watch out for like their bite and stuff. It's like, nah, man, I ain't trying to go.
Punch him in the face.
Nigga, no.
It's like. Wah, wah. Give me this 2 piece of a biscuit.
Start boxing the dog. Wah, 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 wah. I mean, people get mad at me because I don't deal with pit bulls, and there are people that really, really love these dogs. I understand that a dog is a dog, and I know I changed subjects on y'all, but I apologize about that. I don't trust the some bitches. I can't, and I won't. I won't have one. I won't have one around me. The lady across the street got a pit bull and say it's nice and let it go. I ran in my house. I'm not dealing with it.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like that could be any dog. 'Cause I've seen. Oh, look who it is.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Hey!
Wait a minute.
You just jump in the conversation.
I saw what it said.
Is that a dog?
Yes.
Oh,
That fits the conversation.
All right, and now if everybody's joining us, we do have some viewers in here. I've heard. That is Eligio.
Hola.
That
Tu
is
madre.
So we're talking about pit bulls. What's your what do you feel about pit bulls? Do you trust them? Have you had one? Do you care?
So I was very ignorant for a long time about them. Shut your mouth. So I was real ignorant for a long time about them until I came around them, and like they're beautiful. They're beautiful dogs. I mean, all they want to do is love you. Mm-hmm. And we got people who take that love and be like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking fight you. You know, they just do it the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a problem with pit bulls. I have no problem with it. Now they're great dogs. I hate the states that ban pit bulls. That really sucks.
They're banned here in a lot of apartment complexes. You can't rent. You can't get insurance on your house in a lot of places because of the pit bulls and like a whole list of dogs.
But there are whole states that actually do that now.
Yeah,
I think Florida's one of them. Colorado, I think.
really?
you
maybe
allow
Pennsylvania.
But you can't have a pit bull.
Hey, because people use it for the wrong reason.
I can get high, but I can't keep Fido.
They have a bad reputation, and
Wow.
I don't know. I love pit bulls. I'm not responsible enough to get them because you need to be responsible as a big dog.
That's the thing with a pit bull. For me, and I don't know if I'm being ignorant or whatever, but with pit bulls, yeah, just go ahead and eat that on camera. There are.
What the fuck is he doing? I was looking at something else.
With pit bulls, there's too much you got to do, and I don't need a guidebook for a dog.
But honestly, that's
every time.
But
listen, last year there was story after story after story after story, and I know there are other dogs that bite people, but it was just pit bulls at one point.
That's
and it was just and it was the same story. It was the same story. Oh, he never did anything to anybody. We keep him around our baby, but that one time that baby pulled that dog tail, he ate his face.
I mean,
I don't want my niece or my nephew's face getting eaten.
I get it, but like I said, that's the media because I'm sure Rottweilers do it. Dobermans do it.
They on the list.
Do it.
Shit, Chihuahuas are some of the feistiest damn dogs out here.
And that's why I could deal with
one of those as a kid.
I could deal with a Chihuahua because I slapped the shit out of it. Peter, I'm just playing, or PETA, whatever the fuck they call it, and just but a pit bull will fuck you up. A husky will fuck you up. A Labrador will fuck you up. That's my point of view. I don't know if you guys agree or not, but I love pit bulls. I just not responsible.
I'm on the side of this. I think the thing people forget is that a dog, any dog, is an animal. Period.
Right.
And
let's see.
After you start getting away from that, once you try to start humanizing it, like, oh, this is a person with feelings. No, it is an animal that literally responds to external stimuli like an animal. I mean, like, there's no way around that. So I don't know, man.
Go to a grown man and say "bad boy" and slap on the forehead and see what happens.
Right. You can't do that.
No, you can't do that. So nah, man. I'm
like, but no, Rich is right. It's an animal, and like any animal. Oh, I want to keep a chimpanzee in my house. And then remember that one lady that tore her face off?
Oh man, yeah,
What was that, a monkey, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, she had a chimp.
Who the hell has a monkey? See, and that's another thing. I put you on the list with the people that got a shit ton of guns. Why? Why you got a monkey?
Because we can.
Right. It's like what's the I joke with Arlene. I said when you like if you get rich, you have like you're rich when you have giraffe money. Like when you can buy a giraffe, like for a fact that you're doing something right.
Wait, what?
www.buyagiraffe.com.
Right.
America.
So yeah, I still don't. Like y'all have seen and been around Stella. Like Stella's a really, really sweet dog. But I also know Stella got crazy in her. so it's like, and I go lie, man, the first like 6 months of owning her, man, I was like, I have to like be on my guard. I sleep one eye open just in case.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now it's like, of course, but Stella's a different dog now than when we got her, some years back. But even then, still, it's like the reality of it is Stella is still an animal, and I think we forget that is what a dog is.
They're
like
part of a family.
Yeah, no. Because what happened in a lot of these cases, what happens is people humanize them and then forget that they are actually an animal and they respond to stimuli.
Mm-hmm.
You can't reason with a dog like the way you reason with like a person. It's just not like if you look at like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's like they don't worry about self-awareness. They just worry about literally how I'm going to eat. Oh, you put something in my face. I don't like that. Yum. I mean, that's how it works.
Yeah, like that Big Mac he got.
I love animals.
Yeah, me too.
You like
cows?
You do know that
Absolutely.
McDonald's was legally allowed to sell horse meat like last year.
Well, fuck.
You know
Actually,
what?
they say that this is fake meat. So actually, I'm probably being a vegetarian right now. So
Or you eating Secretariat? One or the other.
one or the other. It's great.
I was thinking about what you said, Brian. Is like, do you think people would actually care though? It's like like if we actually knew that now with 100% horse, like would that change?
I don't think we care. I mean, there'd be some shock and awe, and there'd be some people like, "Oh, I'm never eating meat again." But there's a lot of us that be like, "Oh, that's some good ass horse."
Right. Motherfuckers.
The horse was never a friend of mine, so why does that mean anything?
I ain't got no feelings toward no horse.
I said it earlier. They'll admit to eating GMO, but they won't admit to eating ass.
Yeah, you said that today. Yes, you said that.
I appreciate you, Sosa. I love you today.
Well,
Yeah, he did say that. All right, what else we gonna talk about?
I mean, seriously,
Oh,
seriously, if they came out and said that it was horse,
yeah. How many people would actually have like a real problem with it?
Well, McDonald's messed me up, so I don't mess with it too much.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, McDonald's is it's kind of like, I'm like halfway.
When I see McDonald's, I just think of the spares.
oh man, hey, we got a new donkey. We got a new jackass of the day.
Who?
George Clinton.
Who? George?
Buddy George Clinton.
What do you do?
Like P-Funk George? What do you do?
Legend George Clinton on cultural appropriation. We got to get over that shit.
Wait, did he say that?
He said that. Yeah.
Why would he say that?
Yeah, old George. He said he borrowed from entertainers, so you got to get over it.
Well, I mean, I get that he did.
He said, I bite off the Beatles or anybody else. It's all one world, one planet, one groove. You're supposed to learn from each other, blend from each other, and it moves around like that.
I get it, but no, bruh. No, bruh.
2 tears in the bucket, fuck it.
George
No.
said,
I mean,
Funk Legend said it's okay. Mr. Pink
Wait,
Folk said
what
it's
do we-
fine.
Wait,
I mean, go
if,
ahead.
if we're talking about, I'm sorry. Did I throw the whole thing off just by being here? I'm sorry.
no.
You have to be helped out because
You
you're
jump
dog
right
in
in
the
there.
If cultural appropriation to me is you take Elvis Presley.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He didn't give back. He didn't shout out the originators.
Right.
Oh,
He
not at all.
didn't. He did it to make money, and he didn't. How you say it? He didn't give the love back. Uh-oh.
Go ahead. I gotta read the rest of his quote. I didn't finish his quote, but go ahead.
So if people will be like, well, what about Eminem? Eminem gives love back to hip hop.
Yeah,
he
respects the OGs.
Yeah, he acknowledges.
You respect
the OGs.
that.
Be honest with you,
Whatever.
I give him a pass. When they start talking about cultural appropriation and people stealing from black people and all that,
I
don't even think about Eminem
because he's not. He's never been that guy.
Yeah,
that one white dude who just talked, was it Mac something or
Macklemore?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, not him. The other, the one after him. He just said, "I can't do rap no more."
No. You talking about Post Malone?
That motherfucker. Yo.
Oh yeah, he's
that's cultural. That's
nothing but rock and country people tattooed on him. So where did the rap come from? None of those people were your idols. No.
You know where rap came from? Prophet.
Oh, we know that was his gateway into the industry.
Right.
Now he's about to float off in the sunset like Kid Rock.
Yeah. Hey, let me finish. Finish George
Go
Clinton's quote here.
Oh
this
God,
is interesting.
I need this.
Right. Quote: "You see that rocket ship leave yesterday? We can maybe leave this planet. We're going to be dealing with aliens. You think black and white going to be a problem? Wait till you start running into motherfuckers with 3 or 4 dicks, bug-eyed motherfuckers."
Wait, time out.
What?
What?
Nigga, what?
That's that weed, dude.
You remember he talks about the acid that he did. That's that acid trip. He just
that man got a stockpile of weed from 1976 and he's still doing it. I think there's an expiration on this shit. Somebody should stop him from smoking that weed.
They can get more potent like wine and liquor.
I can't. I don't get it. Like, what?
He had a point.
I'm sorry. There's more.
He went left. No,
there can't be any more right. Just
Yo, he had a point.
Just stop.
Hold on. Wait, no. I gotta finish the quote.
Right,
I would be remiss if I did not.
Okay.
He said they could be ready to party, or they could be ready to eat us. We don't know, but we've got to get over this shit of not getting along with each other.
What the fuck does that got to do?
Unquote.
Oh, you finally done?
Said we got to get over it, man. I mean, I agree with the whole thing. We got to live here. We got to live here. I mean, I can't hate you because the sun hits the light spectrum hits your skin a different tone than mine does.
Well, I mean, you could actually go further than that.
Oh yeah, I mean, basically that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, absence of light, we all the same color. When you add light, the spectrum hits us differently. That's what makes us brown and white and red and green.
Well, I mean, you technically, if you think about it, it's like melanin, like that core, that core.
What is melanin without light?
Yeah, melanin. Well, it's a pigment. It's a chemical that actually is inside of your skin that actually makes. That is what responds to that light. But yeah, it's still ultimately it's like the reason for racial differences literally is the fact that you have more of a pigment in your skin than another person. So to say that it makes you superior or inferior or whatever, it's just kind of like, oh, this is dumb. So with George, it's like, all right, dude. So you saying that cultural appropriation, we got to get over it. I don't see how getting like what that actually solves. It's kind of like giving someone a pass for just being a jerk.
No,
respect them, right? And not respect. It's all about respect.
It is.
Right.
I say we just start busting people in the mouth that say dumb shit.
Nah.
Well, I mean, but I think that the only problem with that is that we'd have to be busting up a little bit of everybody. It ain't just one side of the bridge that's doing it. Right.
Yeah, I understand, but yeah, in a way, I do kind of understand where George is coming from. But there's some things you just can't do. There's some things that you should leave alone. I'm not walking around here with a yarmulke on. I don't expect. I look different than somebody with.
But again, to the point you just said,
it's called a yarmulke. It's a yarmulke, right?
Yeah. But will you sit there and listen to their knowledge though? If somebody was like that,
yeah. Well,
knowledge is knowledge. Knowledge is groundbreaking, and it crosses beyond racial barriers. If you got something to tell me that makes sense and that takes me someplace else, then I'll listen.
Mm-hmm.
But if you got something
This
that's
is
just going to take me close enough, but not where you are because of who I am, I don't want to hear that shit. You know, tell me something that's going to move me
Right.
past where I am. Don't tell me something that's going to move me where you want me to be. That makes sense.
I mean, everybody wants to be inspired.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but some of that, you know, but some of that is, you know, there is a level of persuasion that goes along with having someone see your viewpoint, because then that also is a matter of opening your perspective, your mind, to being able to accept the information that the other person gave you.
Mm-hmm.
So it may not necessarily be that, you know, because you may be at a lower level, and to bring you up, you have to see the world from the way that I see it.
And you know, I think that's what's stopping a lot of us from progressing, or stopping most of us from progressing, because we don't want to take that information because we don't trust anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and to be honest with you, there's a lot of people out here that want to swindle you and take advantage of you and make you do shit that you wouldn't usually do just to see what'll happen. But there are a lot of people out here as well, you know, that actually want to help you and actually want to take you someplace else. But because we got these horrible people that are way louder than these good people,
you have a very vocal minority.
Yeah.
All right, let's you brought up something that I thought about today. All right, because you were bringing up the point about people being able to get more information and whatnot. And if a person, let's say if someone asked you something, like legitimately was asking you a question, let's say, all right, there's no way I can make this sound good, but let's say a white guy honestly asked you, like, hey, do black people really like fried chicken that much? Like, would honestly, like, and it was asking the question honestly, like, would you want to kick his teeth in, or would you actually look at him and be like, no, we don't?
It depends on my relationship with them.
I can relate to that question. Y'all know where I work.
Right. Oh my God.
No, listen. I'm good people work with me, but I do get these questions. So my thing is, if somebody says, "Oh, do black people like chicken?" I'm like, who doesn't like fried chicken?
Right.
You know, a lot of people like fried chicken. I try to direct questions like that to a general answer.
Sure.
Because I don't believe that there's a certain demographic that likes a certain kind of food. I think a lot of people like food. It's just attached to a stigma that only certain people like it. I mean, if you think about the whole watermelon thing, I read this the other day. The whole watermelon thing is attached to black people because that was an easy crop for us to grow after we were freed and we sold it. Now, when we were selling it, we were making profit. The people who didn't like us, which I'm trying to avoid saying white people, but the people that didn't like us attached a stigma saying that's the only people that eat watermelon. So they attached it to us. There's really we sold it and we made profit. We were getting rich off selling something that you could grow anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So
hey, that's a good issue.
That's where the stigma came from. They started calling us watermelon eaters and watermelon seed suckers, just to attach a stigma to it that's saying only black people ate watermelon. Who the hell besides Izzo? I know.
I don't eat watermelon.
Who the hell doesn't enjoy watermelon?
Sosa rides down the street eating watermelon.
I posted an Instagram post driving eating watermelon.
I ain't never seen something so ethnic in my life. Jesus Christ.
And see, that's the thing. When you see watermelon, you think ethnicity, but I guarantee you in the South, in August,
oh yeah, everybody's
you
on
find a southern person. I'm not even gonna say a southern black, southern white, a southern person who doesn't have watermelon in their refrigerator.
Sell this shit at Cookout.
Huh? They sell that Cookout?
They sell it at Cookout.
Watermelon slices?
No, they don't.
Watermelon slices at Cookout.
Man, let me take my ass to Cookout in August.
It's probably out of season now, though, man.
Right? Yeah,
well,
right.
Now,
season,
but Yeah, like I said, it's a stigma attached to the whole fried chicken thing. Oh, you like fried chicken? You like fried chicken too?
You know, and that's the thing. That's the thing. I think in a lot of cases, what happens is there are these things or these notions or these perceptions that people have about a group of people, and what happens is that we become so walled off to where no one can actually ask a question earnestly and not feel like they're going to be attacked. Because what happens is if someone asks you that question, and it also unfortunately depends on where you are, because if someone asks that question while it's like you and all your people and just popped off, and it's like they don't know who this person is, and then said it, then it's like you feel the cultural need to defend it. But if it was like you one-on-one, then it's like, well, nah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, so I can at least try to talk to you to get you to understand that this stigma is not attached to a certain group.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was about to say, have y'all heard Solange's last album by any chance?
Nah.
Y'all haven't? Really good album. No, she got a song called "Don't Touch My Hair."
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
I mean, I was making a small point, but just think about that. But it goes into just something so simple that somebody could Google or just talk to a Black person to understand, to where certain sets of people don't understand the texture of our hair.
Yeah,
but it's like, how do they approach it? It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird. And it's like, I don't think those people mean anything by it, but it's like they're just interested in our culture. It's the weirdest thing to me.
I think the more dialogue we have, and like I said, from where I work, I've learned this. The more dialogue we have about random shit, not politics, not religion, not abortion,
just everyday life,
random stuff, we'll realize that there's no difference.
There really
I grew up the same way somebody else did. That's not my race. I had the same parents they've had, same cousins act the same way, same embarrassing cousins act the same way. We're all so connected but separated at the same time because we don't want to confront things that we think are taboo or the regular shit that we do every day. Like I said, the whole watermelon thing, everybody eats watermelon. Everybody eats fried chicken. Everybody likes grape Kool-Aid. There is nothing.
It tastes like Dimetap, dog.
That shit's delicious.
I ain't drank Kool-Aid in like 5-6 years. I used to love it.
I mean, I drink Dimetap by itself.
You had me up until grape Kool-Aid, and like, nah, red Kool-Aid, yeah, but grape Kool-Aid, no.
Oh my god.
So one thing with that though, like, and Brian, you've said this, so I'm don't mean to put your experiences out there, but you said at work they said, I like you, but you're not like the rest of them.
No, that wasn't at work. That was somebody connected to my job.
I've gotten that insinuation a lot in my life because I went to
and I get it all the time too. Oh, I don't have to dial 2 to speak to you. No, bitch, you can speak English to me.
But see, and that's the thing. That goes the whole thing. That goes along with what I said.
I get it.
That goes along with what I said. There's no dialogue. All you're doing is hearing what people say.
Right, but
so you
I'm
don't
not mature enough to handle that.
Yeah,
that's one thing. If someone says, "Oh, Sosa, I like you. You're not like the other Mexicans." Bitch, I'm not Mexican. You're from South America.
Yeah.
And then I flip, and I don't have your demeanor. I'm just, and that's not a good way.
It's not your fault. Go ahead.
I think that's a really interesting point, because that also is part of the reason why there isn't dialogue, because one side understand, it's like one side sees attack and the other side sees someone seeing me as inferior, so the two sides aren't really talking in the same wavelength to be able to understand. It's not saying, again, see, I think the thing is it's like the way someone feels about something does not necessarily, it's okay to feel a certain way, but it doesn't necessarily mean that your action is the correct response to it.
Yeah.
It's not like, it's like, if someone stepped on my foot, yeah, it hurt. Yes, it made me mad, but does that give me the right to literally kick them in their chest?
If they step on your J's, yes.
See, I don't see.
That's a man of the 90s right there.
I ain't messing with y'all.
Rest in peace, Ray Ray.
Nah, but you got a point. But
yeah,
I mean, I'm not. I hope you don't think I'm not knocking you for it. Like,
no, I know I have to get mature to have these conversations. I know I have to be more mature. I'm just not there. I'm gonna grow up one day. It's just not gonna be today.
You have to, in order to take that conversation with a grain of salt and not get pissed off about it, you have to understand that, like I said, they're not talking to anybody.
Right.
We have a tendency, and I think every race has a tribe tendency.
Mm-hmm.
We stick with what we know, who we know, what looks like us.
And I have no problem with.
So when we do that, if I'm somebody of another race that doesn't have the same background as a Black or a South American or anybody like that, and the group that I'm hanging around is not worried about anything like that, then we're not talking about it.
Right.
So all we're doing is hearing what's on the radio. We're hearing what's in music. We're hearing what the media says. We're seeing the pictures they put up on Cops or America's Most Wanted, and we're drawing our conclusions and creating who you are from that. You know, like I said, when I first met you, all I saw was a Latino dude with a hoodie on with tattoos. I wasn't fucking with you. Because of what I saw, because of what I knew, because of who I talked to, and because of what was shown to me.
He thought you were MS-13.
No, I didn't think you were MS-13. I don't even know what that is. I think that's some made up shit from the news.
No,
it's a real thing.
I don't even think that exists.
It exists.
No,
it actually does.
It
does. It's real, but
I think MS stands for made up shit.
okay.
I'm fucking with you. I'm sorry. I'm kidding.
Not this guy.
I'm gonna cut this part out. But what I'm saying, what we gotta do, the key to connecting everything is to talk. And I know that sounds cliche and like it doesn't work.
It's
but
the
I promise
thing,
you,
but it's the solution.
If we start talking to each other, whatever issues we're having in this country would be squashed because we were all brought up here going through the same shit.
But the people that have to talk are not going to.
Right.
They're not going to listen.
You know, the problem
on both sides.
The problem is the people that don't have our problems.
I think. All right. You know, here's something to think about is that everybody has the same problems. It's just that unfortunately, the degree as to which the problem actually is, they're different. A homeless man and Warren Buffett both have money problems. Mm-hmm. It's just that the problems that they have are completely different. For example, if Warren Buffett lost $10,000, it'd be like, okay.
Loses that every second,
right?
His stock he owns goes up and down,
right? But if a homeless man got 10K, it's like this is a life-changing event. But the way that we respond to different problems is what makes us different. It's understanding that we all have problems. All of us have problems. All of us have experiences, and they're different, and they're varied, and they come in an assortment of sizes, shapes, and colors. But it is pretty clear that if nobody talks to anybody, then it just winds up being that we're just having these pissing contests, and everybody's getting rained on.
I think that we can as people who don't have in excess,
right?
Us,
like
we can make way bigger difference here if we dialogue, because the people who are elite and don't have our issues and don't have our problems with bills and money and child care and blah, 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 they're creating problems for us because they're creating this lifestyle that they think we want and they're showing it to us.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
like
and it's kind of like if you take like magnet dust, you seen that magnet dust that's in those little trace draw things?
yeah.
Kids, they're the big magnet and they're just rolling it over the top. And this little magnet dust thinks that it can join with this big magnet and be free just like it. And we can't. And that's what the problem is, because that dust is rolling over each other and fighting each other just to get to the big magnet. If we can just stop worrying and wanting what they have and concentrate on making our lives better here, then we can exact more change here than they can.
There's a yielding thing about, you know, the social media aspect of how we even look at things, because all right, let's just be real. You know, so there are some people who you go on social media and then you look at like, oh, it's like, oh, I'm going to Cancun this week, but you know for a fact that you and the girl that you going to Cancun with are having like fights every 30 seconds. But it's like you take that one selfie and it's like, oh, me and my nigga,
everybody thinks it's fine. I got you.
Everything's fine. It's like there's this need to almost show like, hey, we're doing great, everything's fine. No one posts anything bad on like how like with the exception of maybe, you know, loss of somebody or something, you know, that you can generate that generates a certain response. Most people don't put bad stuff. It's like no one puts out there, man, my bills are late this month. Like no one says stuff like that on Facebook.
Yeah, I guarantee you, for every, let's say 10 people go on a trip with their boo, 8 of them sending pictures back to their other boo.
Right.
Yeah. But happiness is what it is, and most of those people on the flip side, most of those people going on those trips, when they get back home, they got to catch up because they shouldn't have went on that trip.
They're miserable when they get back.
Yeah. Oh man, I didn't pay this because I figured I was going to get paid this when I got back. They behind. Yeah, and the problem with us is we trying to live to catch up with these people, and we don't have the money to do it.
That's the one thing that I'm glad that we didn't go stupid on our wedding.
Yeah. I know a few people that still trying to catch up on bills, and they got married a year ago.
Nah, man.
You know. So we just got to live beyond our means, live within our means.
How about I say, don't do that?
Yeah, don't live beyond your means. Y'all gonna be in that Jordan line next week.
In the what?
Jordan line.
Oh, Jordan.
Your TV, your cable, a week away from getting cut off, and you buying some Jordans.
Hey man,
cable. People ain't got cable. People just got internet these days.
I got cable.
I was joking. I got cable.
Why do you have cable? Like, why do you have cable? Like,
because it's free.
Oh, you talking about you? I got you.
Well, I mean, like, what do you have on cable that you actually watch though?
Wrestling.
Oh shit!
For me, it's for sports. For me.
Well, I like watching random stuff, and we can talk about this technology. This our technology segment. Or are we about to end this?
That's fine. No, let's go for it. I'm good.
Right,
I gotta bail out because I gotta get up early.
So you gonna come late and leave early?
Being ethnic, ain't you, boy?
Yeah, but you ain't nothing but a colored.
Whoa!
One thing, since we're talking about technology, real quick, I got DirecTV, and I use the DVR on it religiously, and I have something called the Gato.
El Gato.
That's cat to the Spanish.
The capture device thing. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So I just hooked my MacBook up to it, and then I just record videos of it. Like I love watching the Epic Homes and what fucking
you like watching butt fucking?
Yeah.
Wait, what just happened?
Wait, what?
Like the behind the scenes type stuff, you know, that you don't see a lot. And, you know, like I watch like Ferris Bueller behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I've seen that. That was dope. That was dope.
But I can watch it over and over again. Yeah, I watch it over and over again because I can record it. So that's why I have it. So I don't know why y'all got it, but you know, I'll catch up tomorrow when
I hate you for that. All right, man.
All right.
All right.
Later.
Just put in the chat. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I got cable, and I know there are other ways to do it, but there are some things I watch on cable, and there are ways to avoid it too. But the only reason I have it is because it's in my mortgage. So,
You all right, Rich? You straight?
I haven't had cable since 2009.
Well, yeah, you are right. You did have cable back then.
I had cable like for the first year of being in my house, and then after that, I haven't had cable. I still don't have cable to this day.
mm-hmm.
I was like one of the early like cord cutters, and I mean I used to work for time.
I think it's too many options out there to have somebody coming to your house and hooking up a cable to the wall, and you having to call every time you want to get it moved or blah blah blah. You can get things streamed. You can get streaming services. There are all these different kind of services you can get where you don't even have to worry about anybody coming or scheduling or waiting or any of that. So
yeah, all you need is something to something to be able to connect to the internet in your home, and at that point, after that, man, pretty much you're good.
But it's available. I think it looked like that. All right, guys.
So.
How long we been doing this?
I don't know. Why doesn't it keep time on this? I know if you click on the YouTube link, it'll tell you.
Oh, will it?
Yeah, it'll tell you how long your stream has started.
I think we got up to 10 viewers at one point.
Really?
I was looking at a little ticker down here.
Oh shit! Okay. Yeah, we've been going for an hour. Well, at least an hour. It doesn't tell you.
10:30.
Yeah.
Well, how the hell I'm not subscribed? Oops.
Oh, we got more viewers in here.
It's us, fool.
Oh no! It's who? Oh, y'all click that shit. Oh. But anyway, good chat tonight, guys. Amazing topics covered. Anybody else want anything to talk about, or?
I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything that I'm like uber passionate about. We didn't cover Laura.
Nah, it's fine because we float on other stuff. I mean, honestly, it's already a week-old topic, so it's okay.
Yeah,
fuck off.
Yeah, because the other thing just happened late last week, and tried to milk there. That was kind of funny.
I'm trying to think of. It's Morocco.
Hey, real quick, unpopular opinion. There does not need to be a Jessica Jones second season. That shit was garbage.
Nah. All right. I haven't watched any of the Netflix. I have not watched any of the Netflix.
You didn't watch Flash?
Well, that's
DC.
That's not Netflix. Yeah, that's not Netflix either.
No, not Flash. Daredevil. Sorry.
Daredevil. Nah, I haven't. I watched the first episode, and then was like, "Oh, this is cool," and then stopped.
How was the one with Luke Cage and everybody else? What's that?
Some of the Defenders. I heard that was
called Luke Cage.
It was.
Defenders was garbage. Yeah, garbage.
It seemed like it came out too fast.
Yeah, they was trying to follow up the Avengers thing, and
Luke Cage too.
Yeah.
All right, so my thing is going to be Daredevil, number 1, Luke Cage number 2.
I gotta watch that. I'm late as well. Ain't that the only thing that crashed Netflix? Is Luke Cage?
He crashed the hell out of Netflix.
I don't think people are paying attention. Us niggers are effing up the game right now.
Low key killing it. So Daredevil, Luke Cage. I think Jessica Jones and Fist of the what's his name? Iron Fist. They equally lame to me. Who else was there?
I think they're doing. Netflix is actually got too much money. They just keep making stuff that nobody's asking.
They stopped with the whole Marvel stuff. It seems like.
Well, because Disney's about to go. Because Disney has 40% of a share in Hulu, and they're going to probably move all their properties over there. Is what it's ultimately.
Yeah, because don't all those little media conglomerates, not media, but like the network media conglomerates, aren't they all have a share in Hulu?
Yeah,
the NBC, ABC, Fox, and CBS all have stuff on there.
Yeah, I think they do. I think Disney has the largest part, and I think ultimately what's going to happen. Well, ABC is owned by Disney, so
I know.
Yeah, ultimately what's going to happen is Disney's either going to like buy out Hulu, just be like, just give this ridiculous amount of money because they already have
to have like an infrastructure they don't even have to build on. That makes sense.
I mean, it's kind of like I don't know if you.
What you say?
Disney's evil.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they kind of are. I
They
mean,
make ESPN suck at
Walmart.
times.
well,
I'm a target.
It is funny. There's a YouTube commentator named Movie Bob. I think I posted a couple of his videos in the chat, and they was talking about how Disney, like the Disney conspiracy, how basically they don't make anything anymore. They're like, oh, we need something, just buy it. I mean, they bought Marvel, they bought Star Wars, they bought ABC, they got ESPN, you know, like the whole Go network. I mean, basically, Disney has the rights to our childhood at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, so it's,
people say they ruined my childhood.
It's like I hate when people
we just bought it.
That right. I hate when people say they ruined my childhood. That is the most. That it's like, what were you 8 today? Like,
yeah.
But when you find things out that you believed in and that you based a certain part of your childhood in that were false or fake or fragile or wasn't really there, it does kind of do something to you. What was I believing in?
Well, I mean, all right, let's unpack that statement. All right, so ruin my childhood. That means that all right. So let me put it in the context of geek culture. When the 2007 Transformers movie came out and Michael Bay's, because like the Optimus Prime I have here is not the Optimus Prime from 1984. So whenever someone says they ruined my childhood, it's like, oh, well, okay. So that you do realize that the Optimus Prime from 1984 still exists. Like it's still there. It's fine. Like, you know, it's like you don't have to engage with this new version of the character. It's different.
But it's like new. your memories and what you believed in, you can't put in that position because something else is there.
Yeah, I'm always
it doesn't
like
fit anymore. My blocks don't fit,
and that's fine.
I have square pegs, and you have square holes now. I mean, square holes. I have square pegs. You have round holes now. It doesn't fit.
Right, and that's
where do
fine.
I fit in?
And no one, and that's I think that's the thing about it is that no one's asking to be fit in anymore. It's like the reality of it is that you know us, you know, our generation, we have the buying power, but we're the ones who have children who we're buying stuff for. So because of that, they're not really paying attention to. It's like we can make this franchise work. But yet at the same time, all we got to do is change. We want to keep you hooked because it's like we're bringing the generation in, but we're not necessarily saying like we're going to address it because this is new and we need to be able to find a way how to make this franchise continue to move. I mean, like this, like it's weird because you know, like when children talk about Bumblebee, it's that you know yellow shrapnel mess that we see on screen, but yet. You know, like Bumblebee to me is like a Volkswagen Bug that's like, you know, little squatty dude that could actually talk. You know,
that's why they're making you a movie so you can see it as the little Volkswagen Bug as a piece of shit.
I don't care. Like I really don't care.
You're not gonna see it? Are you giving up?
Let me not say I'm giving up, man. It's like Transformers is weird because man, I love that's my series, man, and like. Even though I can admit that the first 4 movies, they were not the greatest things, but there was something that at least you can enjoy about them. And you're like, even the 4th movie, I kind of was like, yeah, I can see where you're going with it. But this last one, man, that last one was nah, man, I couldn't do it no more.
It was a hot, shitty, flaming mess.
Oh, like, and that mess is like putting it lightly. Like, I honestly, like, I left the theater and I was like, okay, let's go. When my wife got in the car, she was like, "That was horrible," and I said, "Sweetheart, I'm so sorry." Like I knew, I knew going out. I was like, So I mean,
I told you, I tried to watch it again, bootleg,
no,
like DVD rip, 1080p in my bed with food around me, and I couldn't do it. I was the most comfortable I've ever been in my life, and I couldn't watch that horrible fucking movie. It was bad.
Oh, that movie was so bad. Like I've never seen a movie that sucked that much.
But yeah, I'll give you an example of ruining my childhood, and we'll go ahead and disband. Little Shop of Horrors. is probably one of my favorite
seen
movies.
that. I've still never seen that movie.
It's a great movie, an amazing
Isn't that
movie.
got like Sachina Arnold and
Yeah, they were singing. Her and Pam were singing.
that's the only part I've ever seen of that movie.
But I've seen this movie 1 million times,
Mm-hmm.
2 million times, because I love this movie. And I recently found out that there was an alternate ending.
Oh yeah.
And I watched the alternate ending, and it ruined the movie for me. Like, it just ruined the last 36 years of my life. Like, they made this shit with the intent on putting it out. You know?
You know what, man?
What the
All right. So here's the thing. Here's the thing funny about that, man, is that you know how many. All right. So you're talking about alternate endings of movies. Have you seen the alternate ending for I Am Legend?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
See, like the alternate ending to me, I think is the better ending. Like I
Yeah.
really think, that's the better ending. So it's like the thing with it's like whatever ending tests better with the focus group is whichever one they decide to put out.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, I guess they wanted to, I guess in this case with Little Shop of Horrors, it was like, we'll do something different. And they tried it, and they were like, "No, this is going to suck."
Yeah. It was like,
So
we can't depress people.
Technically, the reality of it is that it's not existing in canon, so you're fine. So your childhood still remains in its perfect little box.
But it's out there. And
Yeah,
it exists. And it
hey man, you know
happened.
what? All you got to do is just remember that it's only a movie, man. And then-
My childhood was a lie.
I mean, actually, you know what's
I don't
funny?
even know what just happened.
Speaking of that, I know we're trying to get off, but we talk about your childhood was a lie. It's like you ever think about like TV shows when you were a kid, and then you realize that those were adults and they had adult thoughts.
Listen,
What you mean?
you know
Give me
what?
an example.
Dude,
Like what?
listen. No, Small Wonder.
Oh God, hey, have you ever seen the clip of like the creepy episode of that where the girl got abducted and she found out her dad had abducted her? I'll send you a clip after this, and it's
See
gonna
that?
blow your mind.
That was some thick shit.
No,
First of all,
not about her. It's another girl on the show, but I'll send it to you.
oh,
after this.
okay, yeah. And first of all, why is a grown man making a little girl doll?
Pedophile, but it's okay.
Oh,
That whole thing was sick. Once I got older and watched, tried to research what was going on that, I was like, wait a minute.
She had an RS-232 port under her arm. Google it. She
Why do you
did.
remember that?
Because once I saw this clip, under like the little writing, somebody said that when I Googled the shit. I said, wow. I'm going to send it to y'all. While y'all doing it, y'all can look at this afterwards. It blew my mind.
But yeah, that's sick. Yeah, you watch some of them shows and it's just horrible. Alf was eating people's cats like he was taking their pets.
I never thought about that as a kid.
He
Never
was
thought about
kidnapping
this.
people's animals and eating them. He had to get a taste from somewhere.